In this video you are going to learn Kanban. Topics I have discussed are: what is Kanban? What is a Kanban board? Kanban cards, core practices of Kanban method, and benefits of Kanban. Let's start the video. Kanban is a Japanese word that means signboard or billboard. It is a workflow management method for defining, managing, and improving services that deliver knowledge work. It aims to help you visualize your work, maximize efficiency, and improve continuously. Originating from manufacturing, it later became a territory claimed by agile software development teams. Recently, it started getting recognized by business units across various industries. In the late 1940s, Toyota began optimizing its engineering processes based on the same model that supermarkets were using to stock their shelves. Supermarkets stock just enough products to meet consumer demand. The supermarket gains significant efficiency in inventory management by decreasing the amount of excess stock it must hold. Meanwhile, the supermarket can still ensure that the product a consumer needs is always in stock. When Toyota applied this same system to its factory floors, the goal was to better align their massive inventory levels with the actual consumption of materials. To communicate capacity levels in real time on the factory floor, workers would pass a card, or Kanban, between teams. When a bin of materials being used on the production line was emptied, they passed a Kanban to the warehouse describing what material was needed, the exact amount of this material, and so on. The warehouse would have a new bin of this material waiting, which they would then send to the factory floor, and in turn, send their own Kanban to the supplier. The supplier would also have a bin of this particular material waiting, which it would ship to the warehouse. While the signaling technology of this process has evolved since the 1940s, this same just-in-time, or JIT manufacturing process is still at the heart of it. My next video will be on the just-in-time process. Check that video link in the description. What is a Kanban board? The lanes on a Kanban board represent the steps in your process. Each vertical lane should reflect a distinct step in your process, and move sequentially from left to right. From to do, to doing, to done. Of course, the processes that most knowledge work follows are a bit more complex than simply to do, doing, and done. You likely have several subcategories within each of those three broader states. Within to do, you might have to do unprioritized, to do prioritized. Within doing you might have plan, develop, test, and launch. Within done, you might have done, pending final approval, done, done. You can design your Kanban board to reflect on each of these steps: to do, unprioritized, to do, prioritized, plan, develop, test, launch, done, pending approval, done, done. Kanban cards. In Japanese, Kanban literally translates to visual signal. For Kanban teams, they represent every work item as a separate card on the board. The main objective of representing work as a card on the Kanban board is to allow team members to track the progress of work through its workflow in a highly visual manner. Kanban cards present critical information about that particular work item, giving the entire team full visibility of who handles that item of work, a brief description of the job being done, how long that piece of work is estimated to take, and so on. Cards on virtual Kanban boards will often also feature screenshots and other technical details that are valuable to the recipient. Allowing team members to see the state of every work item at any point in time, as well as all the associated details, ensures increased focus, full traceability, and fast identification of blockers and dependencies. Core practices of Kanban method. While aiming to implement the Kanban method, every organization must be careful with the practical steps. 6 core practices need to be present for a successful implementation. 1. Visualize the workflow. Kanban systems use mechanisms, such as a Kanban board, to visualize work, and the process it goes through. In order for the visualization to be the most effective, it should show where in the process a team working on to do a specific work item, where the team delivers the work item to a customer, policies that determine what work should exist in a particular stage, work in progress limits. 2. Limit work in progress. When you establish limits to the amount of work you have in progress in a system, and use those limits to guide when to start new items. By limiting work in progress, you encourage your team to complete work at hand first before taking up new work. Thus, you can smooth out the flow of work and reduce lead times, improve quality, and deliver more frequently. 3. Manage flow. A Kanban system helps you manage flow by highlighting the various stages of the workflow, and the status of work in each stage. It helps your team analyze the system, and make adjustments to improve flow so as to reduce the time it takes to complete each piece of work. The flow of work in service should maximize value delivery, minimize lead times, and be as predictable as possible. Teams use empirical control through transparency, inspection, and adaptation in order to balance these potentially conflicting goals. A key aspect of managing flow is identifying and addressing bottlenecks and blockers. 4. Make process policies explicit. You can't improve something you don't understand. Therefore, your process should be clearly defined, published, and socialized. People would not associate and take part in something they do not believe would be useful. When everyone is familiar with the common goal, they would be able to work and make decisions regarding a positive impact. Distributed, visible, well-defined, and subject to change, work policies have the power to boost people's self-organization. 5. Take feedback. At the end of the day, the most important entity for any business is the client, so implementing an effective feedback system is extremely important. The idea of getting feedback early, especially if you are on the wrong track with your work, is crucial to ultimately delivering the right work, the right product or service to the customer in the shortest possible time. Feedback loops are critical for ensuring that. 6. Improve collaboratively, evolve experimentally. The way to achieve continuous improvement and sustainable change within an organization is through collaboratively implementing changes, based on scientifically proven methods, feedback, and metrics. Cultivating an organizational culture, where every hypothesis is proven to have positive or negative results, is crucial for developing a mindset focused on improvement, through evolutionary change. Like the video so that YouTube recommend my video to other people like you. Now come to benefits of Kanban. 1. Identifying issues. An important practice of Kanban is to limit work in progress. Setting work in progress lets you and your team highlight any barriers in your improvement process, which could be because of a lack of focus, resources, or techniques. 2. Flexibility. Unlike other frameworks, Kanban isn't restrictive. There are no definite phase durations, and preferences are based on the most recent data. This makes it fit for teams in any organization to use a Kanban board to collaborate, document work, and track their work progress. 3. It can save time. As part of the agile practice, implementing a Kanban board will allow your team to improve throughout the development process. By using a shared visual management tool, each team member can see all actively involved in the project process, and if any issues appear, the transparency will allow them to be fixed quickly. This inevitably allows enough time and resources for your team to continue providing a high-quality product or service. 4. It empowers teams. As every team member involved in a project can access the Kanban board, everyone shares the responsibility for ensuring work gets moved along the board properly, and eventually reached the done column. Having this kind of responsibility within your team members can foster communication and collaboration skills. 5. Balance productivity. By sticking to the basic practices of Kanban, limiting the amount of work in progress will keep workers from consuming time on menial tasks. The visualization of workflow can ensure even streams of productivity. 6. Increased customer satisfaction. The origin of the Kanban method, the pull system it is based on, implies that work is done when there's a demand. By introducing work in progress limits to the process, you will ensure that the end result is fine-tuned to your customers' expectations. If you want to read in details or download the PDF, go through the link in the description. Share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to Educationleaves.